Hi, I'm Terrell Turner, the host of the Finance and Accounting Show. And today we have a great guest on, Diane Gardner. And the reason why I say this guest is great is because it's one thing to have a great, marketing, a business, and a product strategy. But sometimes people don't always think about the financial strategy when it comes down to their business. So I always love talking to amazing professionals that can start to bring up topics that people should probably keep in mind and consider setting up appointment with your specialist to help you develop that. So stay tuned for an amazing episode. Welcome to another episode of the Finance and the Accounting Show. This is the place to go for small business owners. If you're looking for a great way to understand the finance and the accounting side of your business, you're in the right place. So stay tuned and enjoy the episode. So without further ado, let me bring on my amazing guest, Diane. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Terrell. Good to be with you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It is a pleasure to have you, Diane. Now, before we jump into, like I said, the details of, the types of problems that you help your clients with, can you help us understand a little bit about your background and kind of what led you into the financial advisory business?
Yes. So I started my career in banking. Right out of college, I started at a local bank in their management training program, which was great because it provided me with a really good understanding of banking, loans, debits, credits, all that good stuff. And probably about 5 years into working at the bank, they developed an actual financial advisor, financial consultant role where I could still work as a bank employee and then start to help clients a little bit more with their financial planning aspects. I had previously worked with the financial advisor in the branch, so I was able to kind of see how he was able to help clients and the benefits that the clients were receiving from that. So that's when I decided to switch over and leave the management training side of the bank and actually switch over to the financial planning. And in December 2010, we had a bank merger. And after that merger is when I decided to leave the bank and join LPL as an independent advisor.
Awesome. Now, so how was that transition for you? I mean, going from, like I said, just learning the basics and the fundamentals of the banking, then to moving into financial advisory, like how was that switch for you?
Yes. So, the switch was somewhat easy on some aspects where, we learned a lot in the banking as far as, money management and debt management and budgeting and things like that. But when I switched over to the advisory side, then of course I had to start getting my securities licenses, understanding all the regulations that went with that. So banking has a lot of regulations too, but just kind of marrying those two together. So it was a fairly okay process. I mean, of course, a lot of learning, a lot of studying, but it definitely pays off in the end. So
Awesome. Gotcha. Now, I will say, when I've met different people that aren't as familiar with, like I said, the level of certifications or the level of compliance that goes along with financial advisory, I often find that, we don't always have a respect for like how much goes into that, to making sure that, hey, if you are a financial advisor, you didn't just grab that title out of thin air and just throw it on your LinkedIn. Like there's a little bit that goes behind it. I know you have a couple of certifications. Can you tell us a little bit about just kind of what those certifications mean?
Sure. So the CFP, or the Certified Financial Planning designation, pretty much enables a CFP to act always in the best interest of the client. So it is a fiduciary position. There are, of course, probably about a year's worth of studying that goes into taking that exam. And then there are certified educational credits that you have to do every year in order to keep your designation up as well. Also, there's compliance that goes with that designation. So if there are any issues, they would need to be reported to the CFP board. And I'm also a certified divorce financial analyst. So in that designation and in that role, I help clients that are going through a divorce figure out their finances. Oftentimes, one person in the marriage handles the finances, the other person doesn't. So just bringing everyone together and trying to help them navigate through. Once again, there are CEs that are required for that designation as well, and also compliance reporting if necessary. So yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. If you see those letters, they're not just letters. There's a lot of extra work that goes into those.
Awesome. I mean, that's amazing to know because, even for myself as a CPA, at times people ask like, oh, what do those letters mean? And I realize like there are a lot of there are a lot of times where people reach out to me and they ask me like personal financial or financial advisory questions, and
Mhm,
I was like,
mhm.
well, not all finance is exactly the same. Like I'm not certified to speak on those types of topics, so it's great to, like I said, to be able to educate people, help people understand, like, hey, there is a difference.
Yes, there is, because I am not a CPA, so I do not do accounting work. So I'm with you on that.
Awesome. No, I guess just to take a step even a little further back in your timeline. I mean, what was banking and the financial industry? Was it just something that you saw kind of growing up, as far as what made you want to go that route, or what really stood out to you?
Yes. So in high school, actually, I was in, and this is going to date myself, the Future Business Leaders of America was a group that I was involved in. And I really just liked all the aspects of business in my business courses in high school. At one point, we played the stock market game. I don't know if anyone else has ever played that, where you pick these companies and you follow them. And, I just was really interested in the whole aspect of business and how it worked. And so that's really kind of what got me into the business field. And then when I started college, of course, you get there in your first years, just all general subjects. And then when I started to narrow down what area of business I would like to focus in, I focused in on finance. And so that's what led me initially to the bank. And then once I was at the bank, they had that investment track. So then I switched over. So it all kind of tied in. But really in high school was really started with the Future Business Leaders of America. That's where it all began. So
Awesome. I remember talking to someone about, like, kind of when I was in high school, similar thing of the
Mhm.
future bit, the FBLA.
Yep, that's it.
And it's like, it's amazing how much that played a role in kind of how the trajectory of things,
Mhm,
after went, because like I said, for similar for me, that was my start for like business, accounting, finance was,
mhm.
the desire was kind of birthed in because I didn't come from a family that had a finance or corporate background.
Right. Neither did I. So that's where the first exposure really started. And I mean, this teachers, that was a great program. I think some schools still offer it. I'm not sure, but I mean, it really is a great program for people that aren't familiar with business to start getting, a little bit familiar with it. Mhm,
Awesome. I love it. I love it. Now,
mhm,
I guess fast forwarding to today in the present time, I mean, when
mhm.
you look at, the type of work that you do and the ways that you help clients, like, how do you kind of usually describe and help people understand the nature of what you do now?
Yeah, so, pretty much I kind of tell clients that, I'm here as a partner to work with them to help them navigate their finances. Everyone has their specialties in life and they're good at things. And, finance sometimes isn't something that everyone is very well informed or really don't understand the best ways to navigate it. How do I set things up? What's going to work best for me and my family? Everything is different. Everything is unique for each family, for each client. There is no cookie cutter anything in the financial world. So really, I'm there as a partner to help them and assist them work towards whatever their specific goals is, and to provide advice as needed.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. And I will say, for selfish reasons, I'm very excited to have you on the show because, like, as I said, I meet a lot of business owners,
Mhm,
and sometimes I think, like I said, they blur the lines between what myself as a CPA and fractional CFO do
mhm,
and what a financial advisor does.
mhm,
So from your perspective, I mean, when you're, since a lot of my audience are small business owners and business owners,
mhm.
what's the role that a financial advisor can play with helping, business owners?
Right. So my role with business owners is helping them look at their business from a financial lens and being objective, because oftentimes when you're the business owner, you're doing so many different things, you're wearing so many different hats. Sometimes you just need someone to kind of be on the outside looking in on the finances with you, to help develop whatever plan is needed. So just kind of being that outside set of eyes looking at things from a financial perspective can kind of give them and prompt some conversations on maybe some business structures or some things that they're thinking about that maybe need to change or upgrade or what have you.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. Now, when it comes to that financial conversation, does that also start to include or open up to their personal finances and kind of how all the business financial strategy, the personal financial strategy, like do those come up in the conversation?
Yes, they do, because oftentimes as the business owners, everything is flowing through your business onto your personal financial statement. So, making sure, what does the cash flow look like, debt management, all those types of things, oftentimes for the company also fall back on the business owner as well. So, tying those two together and kind of looking at the whole picture so everyone's all on the same page of exactly what's the goal that we're trying to achieve.
I absolutely love it. And as I said, for very selfish reasons, I absolutely love that because it's one of those things that I try to help people understand. Like, myself as a CPA and fractional CFO, kind of my focus is more on their business, not
Mhm.
so much on their whole financial picture. And I think that if you're going to get a strategy that works for you, you need to be able to, like I said, see both the personal finance as well as the business finance to see how the strategies relate. So thanks for clarifying that.
Mhm.
So now when it comes down to, people wanting to work with a professional like yourself,
Mhm.
what are some of the ways that, like that, whether people can reach out, get in touch, or
Mhm.
find out, how can they, try or attempt to work with you?
Right. Yes. So, of course, in today's day and age, everything is social media, right? So, you can find me online. My website is www.dianegardnerlpl.com. I just started out on Twitter, so you can find me at DianeG1860. And then, of course, Facebook is Diane Gardner Financial Planner. And then I'm also located on LinkedIn. So, people can reach me through those mediums. There's always a scheduling link where people can schedule an appointment. We can talk over what your scenario is, and then I can ultimately see if there's a way that I can help you. Because at the end of the day, if I'm not the right person, maybe for exactly what you're looking for, then maybe I could, point you in the right direction.
Absolutely. I love
Mhm.
it. I love it. And then speaking of just kind of just getting connected and finding ways of meeting, like, it's very interesting is the way that you and I got connected is through a mutual friend, Dana Wilson with Chip. So can you tell us a little bit about kind of how you came across Chip and kind of what your relationship and interaction has been with?
Yes. So Dana actually was another LPL advisor. And so I met her through our networks here. And she launched CHIP, which is changing how individuals prosper. And the whole thought process behind CHIP is a platform where Black and Brown Latinx advisors and financial professionals can be found. Because what we were finding in the industry is not only did we know how to connect amongst ourselves, but clients weren't able to find us. So CHIP is designed online, and there's also an app where people can find everything from bookkeepers, accountants, financial advisors, financial coaches, insurance agencies, you pretty much name it, and it's there. And the whole thought process is we want to change how individuals prosper. We want to be able to serve, clients that are looking for us so that we can help them pretty much change the trajectory of their lives financially. So I'm
I
really
love it.
excited. Yeah, really, really excited to be a part of CHIP and be a part of the advisory board.
I love it. I love it. That is amazing. So, before we wrap up, one of the things that I really love asking every guest is, we think about, your amazing history of the things that you've learned and just the different avenues that you've kind of navigated your career, your professional and your entrepreneurial path. It's, what's two lessons that come to mind? And it may even be two things that you've already brought up
Mhm.
that you would leave and share with the audience?
Yes. So the first one I would say for business owners would be to grow strategically and controlled. I think I've seen, in the past where, everyone wants to grow their business, right? But then it needs to be controlled and it needs to be strategic, because if not, sometimes it can end up being costly and actually hurt your business instead of helping. So just make sure you kind of look at those opportunities and make sure you do an analysis of those. I'd say the second piece would be, the old adage, make sure you pay yourself first. Make sure that you as a business owner are saving for retirement. And that's another key piece oftentimes that I see, extra monies are rolling back into the business sometimes, which could be a part of your end strategy to sell your business in retirement, but then you still also need to have retirement money set aside for yourself. So I would say those two pieces would kind of be the two pieces of advice I tell people, just to keep those in mind, as you move forward throughout your business.
Awesome. I absolutely love it. And I think that is a great point, because I meet a ton of business owners that are not really thinking about their retirement. So I'm so glad that you brought that point up.
Leave it to the advisor to bring up retirement, right? We all want to get there someday. So
it's one of those things, like I heard someone say once before, it's just like, everybody wants to retire comfortably, or they want that. And it's just like, but if you don't plan for it, it will probably never be your reality. And I was like, you know what? That is very true.
And we'll all be at retirement age before we know it. So time flies. So you also have to keep that in mind too.
Absolutely. Well, Diane, it has definitely been an honor and a pleasure to have you on. So thank you so much for being an amazing guest on the show.
Okay, Charles. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Finance and Accounting Show. If you like what you heard, don't be selfish. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and then share this with a friend, because you know a business owner that could definitely use this insight. So be sure to hit that subscribe button, share it with a friend, and turn on the notification bell so you get all the updates when we release a new episode.